Today, I'll be demonstrating the 5 simple steps of Fusion and how you can do it yourself.
Once you've already made an account and logged into the app, you're ready to move on to step 1. Step 1 is getting familiar with the basic format of Fusion. Now, you'll see these icons at the bottom of the screen, and they are used to navigate your camera throughout the plane. The first one is called Orbit, and if you click the icon and drag your mouse over, it basically rotates your camera and the plane. The shortcut for this is Shift and middle mouse button, which is your scroll wheel. Now, the second one is Pan. Pan is basically just dragging the plane or your camera. The shortcut for this is just middle mouse button. And you also have Zoom, which you click and drag in and out to zoom into your plane. And then the last one is Zoom Window, where you select an area that you want to zoom in on. You'll also notice this cube at the top right, which is used to move your camera to specific locations, like the top back, just the back, or home, where it's just returning back to where you started. So, now that we're done with step 1, we can move on to step 2. Step 2 is creating a sketch. Now, if you go to the top left in this Create tab, you'll find Create Sketch as the second option. Once you clicked it, it'll ask you to select a plane, side, or bottom. For this, we'll just use the bottom. Now, go up to your Create tab in the top left again and select rectangle or any other shape depending on what you want. Now, using your mouse, drag a shape, and once you're done with the size, you can also adjust the size in the boxes. Let's just do 50, and then tab is to move on to the next one, and 50. So now we got a perfect square. Now you can either press Finish Sketch right here or in the top right. Once your sketch is complete, it'll return you back to where you see all of these tabs up above where you started. Now that you've made a sketch and are ready to move on, it's time for step 3. Step 3 is making your sketch into an actual 3D object. In order to do this, you will click the sketch and press E on your computer. It'll ask you for an exact measurement, or you can use this little arrow. The arrow, once dragging up, will make your object taller or shorter. You can also select an exact measurement in this box right here. So in order to make a perfect cube, we would need to make it 50. Once done, click OK. There's also another way to create 3D objects. If you press your Create tab up here, you will find that there are these pre-made boxes, cylinders, spheres, and toruses. For a box, it's kind of like the starting of a sketch, so select a plane, and then drag your mouse to make the exact dimensions you want. Let's just make this box half as big as the other one. 25, tab, 25, and press enter. Now it gives you this box, so it kind of looks like a sketch that you made, but without extruding. Now there are some arrows to adjust the size of the box in each direction, forward, backward, side to side, and up. So, this applies to other objects such as a cylinder. A cylinder, you start off with a circle base and then move up to make it taller and move out to make it wider. There's also a sphere, which you start off with a normal sphere and just make it bigger with the arrow. And there's a torus, which is kind of like a donut, so you can make a donut in Fusion. And then this arrow is to make it longer or wider, and this arrow is to make it thicker. So, now that you know how to make 3D objects in Fusion, now is time for step 4. Step 4 is modifying them. Now, if you go up to relatively the middle of your top area, you'll find the tab named Modify. The basic modifiers are as follows. Step number 1 is Fillet. Fillet, when applied to an edge is like a straight piece of your object, not a flat surface. Once you click the edge, and you can drag this arrow down to basically round it, or make it look like it's been sanded down a lot. You can also use exact measurements, such as 20, 10, or 15. Once you're done with it, click OK at the right, and you'll have your object with a rounded surface. You can do this to as many sides as you want, as long as you hold Control on your keyboard to select more than one. Now it's on to the next one, which is chamfer. Chamfer is kind of like slicing a piece of your object off of the existing object. So once applied to an edge, you can pull down on the arrow and it'll basically remove it or make it have a flat edge. So kind of like fillet, except it's flat and not rounded. You can also do exact measurements as always. And once done, click OK to the right. Now on to shelling. Shelling is basically making your object hollow, and whatever face, which is a flat surface, you select is where the opening will be. So let's just use a cylinder here. You click on the face, and then this arrow determines how thick or thin the walls are. You can also use exact measurements, so if you want really thin walls, you would do 1. If you want really thick, you could do 10. The options are limitless, and they can adjust depending on what you need. Now on to scaling. Scaling is where you select a body. By the way, important tip. On the left, there's this tab labeled bodies. If you click the arrow next to it, it will show you body numbers, and you can label these later. But these body numbers are used to determine what object is on your plane. So body 1 would be the square that we made first. Body 2 would be the second square. Body 3 would be the cylinder. Body 4 would be the sphere, and body 5 would be the torus. Okay, so if you right-click these bodies, you can select Move/Copy, and this allows you to move your object throughout the plane. Once you're done and happy with where it is, you can press OK here on the right. Now, if you want to make an exact replica of a shape, let's just say this shape was hard for you to make, and you want to make an exact replica. So find out which body it is and press Move/Copy after right-clicking and click Create Copy to the right, which is right above OK. And then now whatever you move will be the second object, which is a replica of the first. So now you got an exact object, and once clicking OK, you will have another body. Now scaling. Scaling is useful whenever you're off by just a bit, or you need to make something that fits a certain area exactly. So in order to do this, you'll need to highlight by dragging your mouse over and highlighting an object, selecting scale, and then scale it by how big you want it. So if you want it to be 1.5 times bigger, you click 1.5. Once done, click OK. Now you have a bigger object. The last one for this tutorial is combining. Combining basically allows you to make two components into one. In order to do this, the components need to be touching. So let's just say I want to combine body 6 with my hollow cylinder. Now, as you can see, they are touching. It's inside of one. Once done with this, you need to go to the top to make sure your highlight will be exact and highlight the two objects. Next, go up to Modify and press Combine and OK. As you can see, one of our bodies disappeared, but it really just made two bodies into one. So now whenever you right-click on body 6 and press Move/Copy, you will have a single object that moves in unison with each other. Now that you know step 4, now it's time to move on to step 5. Step 5 is actually saving your tab or, amount of 3D objects to your computer. Now, in order to do this, you go to the little save icon here in the top left labeled save, and then whatever name you need it for, you just type it in. For this, I'll choose speech and debate project. Now, once click save, it is now saved to your computer and your 3D objects are saved on your files. With Fusion, the options are limitless. The possibilities never end, and it's just all around a really good tool. I hope you enjoyed. This has been Holden Yeomans. Have a good day.